This is AHA, Ranking Highs and Lows, Episode 2.
Hello everybody and welcome to the second episode of AHA, Ranking Highs and Lows, the podcast that celebrates the wonderful music of AHA by ranking all AHA songs from worst to best. In the first episode we counted down the songs from 147 to 126, and in this episode we will continue counting down from 125 to 101. My name is Peter and I'm the moderator of this countdown, and with me I still have the two guys behind the actual ranking, Jesper and JP. How's it going, guys?
It's going well, thanks. I think we're both happy to leave the lower grounds and start climbing up to the better parts of the ranking, even though we are still in the lower part of the list, but it's going to be more and more enjoyable as we go along, I think.
Yeah, I agree. It's always kind of fun to talk about the stuff that you don't particularly like, but the real reason why we've been AHA fans for more than 35 years has very little to do with the songs at that end of the ranking, at least.
Yeah.
All right. So in the first episode we did a longer presentation of and described the background of this project. So if you somehow missed that, we recommend that you give that a listen. In the first episode, you ranked the songs from 147 to 126. That's 22 songs in total. And I've had a look at those numbers, and I can see that half of those, they are demo songs. And then basically the rest of them are songs released on albums from 2000 or later. So looking at that, it seems like you don't like the demos and you don't like the newer stuff. Is that a fair conclusion?
Well, when you put it like that, but no, I at least I don't think so. But it is true that although it's always very exciting to get access to some of the older and newer demos, many of them have been left on the cutting room floor for a reason. Some of them might have had potential, but in their current form, they show the weaknesses of the demos. So I think it's more like that.
Yeah, and as we move up the list, it will become evident that we don't automatically dismiss anything post 2000, but we also very much stand by the opinion that the post 2000 era has been challenging when it comes to the production of the songs, and sometimes you could say quality control within the band, and perhaps by the manager and producers as well.
Okay, so we're getting ready for the next 25 songs, and what can we expect?
Yeah, well, we won't, of course, reveal too much because we want people to listen to this, but apart from, maybe we'll run into a few demos again, and we will also encounter the real album tracks from the 80s and the 90s, and probably also some songs that count among other fans' favorites. So, yeah.
Yeah, and already here we also start to encounter some songs that, although they are still low on the list, actually have quite a high basic quality, and some of them are songs that we have a certain emotional or nostalgic connection to as well. So, in some places it's getting difficult already here.
Well, let's not waste any more time. Here we go.
Number 125.
Number 125, and the first song and the second part of the countdown here is a demo, Nothing to It, from the Hunting High and Low Deluxe Edition from 2010. It's possibly the song that inspired the band name, with the lyrics, "You've got to get on top of it, aha, nothing to it." And for that alone, it's relevant. It was also included on the bootleg tape or demo cassette that circulated among fans in the early 90s, and possibly overrated because of nostalgia. It's likable, it's a bit of fun, but not more than that.
Yeah, I mean, it has quite naive keyboards, but it is also early signs of AHA becoming AHA. So even if it's not the best of the old batch of demos, it's quite enjoyable.
Number 124.
Number 124 is Riding the Crest. It's from Foot of the Mountain from 2009. And here is Magne is again running out of riffs, so he used something from his own solo material from a song called Running Out of Reasons, which is a song that I really much prefer to this one. The original riff is played with a real acoustic guitar, and this one is certainly not, but played on a keyboard with a rather, I would say, irritating sound. But all in all, the song is pretty nice with a great chorus, actually, and I can't say that it stood the test of time, but it's an okay upbeat song, anno 2009.
To be honest, I'm a bit torn when it comes to Riding the Crest. I remember when I heard it the first time, I thought this could be the biggest hit since Take On Me, and then after hearing it 25 times, I'm thinking, no, it couldn't. I think overall it's maybe a better song than I give it credit for, but I wouldn't necessarily want a non-AHA fan to hear it or let alone judge the band by it.
Number 123.
Number 123 is Differences in an original demo version on the Lifelines Deluxe Edition. The song itself was actually premiered at the, I think, 2001 Nobel Peace Prize concert. To me, it's like We Are the World, AHA style, infused with Norwegian gloom and general lack of hope.
Yeah, I mean, it's a rather weak track that really can't deliver on the grandiosity that it promises. But I like the way Magne sings the backing vocals, but it's by no means on the level that he can actually deliver.
Number 122.
Number 122, Living at the End of the World, from Carsten Steele, 2015. I read somewhere that some fans like to compare this to Stanley's Roads, and I think they should be ashamed of themselves. I mean, it's not the worst song that Morten has ever written, and it does has its moments, but like so many times before, this would fit as a solo project and should have stayed that way. It's not my AHA, I would say.
No, I mean I can recognize that Stay on These Roads link in a way. Morten's vocals, I think, are strong. I think the melody is decent, but it's not nearly as epic as some people would make it out to be. It's an okay effort, but somewhat overrated in my book.
Yeah.
Number 121.
All right, number 121 is a song from Analog from 2005. It's Birthright. This one is a very, I think, solid vocal performance from Morten and a nice enough melody, but it's also sort of quite or very representative of Magne's output from 2002 onwards. I would probably have put it higher on the list 10, 15 years ago, but it hasn't stood the test of time that well. I think it's among Magne's better lyrics, though, but as a whole, I would call this quantity over quality.
Yeah, I think it's a time and again another AHA song. Light and Time and Again was written by Pål. Now that you mentioned that, Magne wrote this one. Morten's voice is this one is it's a proof that his voice doesn't sound great in all styles, and this one is it's not a bad song, but it's just it's a bit boring.
But it is our first award in this episode. It's our introduction to the Analog album, so it's the voice song from Analog.
Yeah,
but it's fair.
Yeah, it's probably fair.
Yeah.
Number 120.
Okay, we've reached number 120, and it's Between Your Mama and Yourself from Memorial Beach, 1993. And this one really hurts me because I so want everything from Memorial Beach to be great, but the truth is that this one is too far away from the rest of the album, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, because we have an award here. It is the worst song from Memorial Beach.
Yeah.
So you're basically saying that it would have been a better album if it's been left off.
Yeah, I mean, I would have included the song Barroom, which we'll come back to later, Any Given Day, instead of this one. I mean, the lyrics in Barroom are cheeky in the same way as this one is. This one is about a girlfriend with a great-looking mother, as Pål has has called it. And but this is Pål trying too hard to be simple rock and roll, and it doesn't work that well.
No, I remember when Memorial Beach was released, Pål described Between Your Mom and Yourself as something to clear the air during the recording of the album. But I think we both think that it annoys more than it amuses. So forever a stone in the shoe of an otherwise fantastic album.
Yeah.
Number 119.
Number 119 is Maybe from Scoundrel Days from 1986. And maybe not as bad as the ranking suggests, or maybe it is, maybe. As charming as the song can be on occasions, it's also partly what prevents Scoundrel Days from being a flawless album. Magne doesn't appear to be too happy with the final outcome of the song either, but I'm not even sure that there is a big song hidden anywhere inside Maybe, regardless of how it would have been produced.
Yeah, I don't know, because the demo for this track is much better. It's much more gloomy, and I think it would have fitted better on the album.
That I would agree with.
Excuse the stuttering. This track is the reason that Scoundrel Days is not a perfect album. And a few other factors which we'll come back to at a later stage. Too much happy-go-lucky in this sound. And Peter, do you have an award for this one?
Yeah, I do. It's our introduction to Scoundrel Days. So, maybe the worst song of the album.
No, definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
The worst song of the album.
Number 118.
Number 118, You Are the One from Stanley's Roads, 1988.
Yeah, and Jesper, I think some will maybe be a bit surprised to find this song this low on the list. I mean, it's a song that actually went to number 13 in the UK as a single. But please, is it because of the music video where they're running around in sailor suits that you're rating this song this low?
Yes. At least it could influence our decision, I would say. But I mean, first of all, I would say the middle part of the song, when Morten sings, "I've done all I can do," that's genius. That part of the song I've always loved, and but it's not nearly enough to make it a great song. And the video, as you mentioned, is not helping at all with them running around in New York in sailor costumes. And it's too much fun and happy sounds for a lyric that is actually more melancholic than it appears. So all in all, I think it makes the album weaker, single or not.
Yeah, I mean, I can dig out some nostalgic love for You Are the One at times, but even though the song has been released in numerous versions over the years, I don't think any of them have been really very good. And as you say, Jesper, the lyrics are much darker than the music suggests. So the only sort of version I could imagine might work was if they did a slowed down version like the MTV Unplugged version of Take On Me. That could potentially work really well. Yeah. So, here's a challenge.
Okay, but at least it will get an award because this is the first song of Stay on These Roads. So, the worst song of that album.
Yeah, well, we definitely both agree to that.
We do.
Number 117.
117, halfway through the tour from Analog from 2005. A strange song in a way, and an honest account of the exhausting touring life and the important role that concerts play now that bands only make little, if any, money on selling records. And the lyrics go, "While there's money to be made, halfway through the tour from the public eye we fade." So a strange but pleasant enough instrumental second half of the song doesn't add much in terms of quality. It's a glimpse behind the scenes of AHA on the road, but to me it's not a very strong song.
Yeah, I like it a little bit better. I think it's the first part of the song it sounds like Paul is doing ABBA, and then the last part of the song it's a bit of it's a David Lynchy quiet piece where it represents the tranquility of after a tour, I guess, and I like that idea, and I don't think it's a bad song at all. I think it's pretty cool.
Number 116.
Number 116. Did anyone approach you from Lifelines 2002? I would say, I mean, as much as I like spoken word in songs from time to time, this one never really did it for me. It is by no means near the greatness of spoken word in for instance, Locusts, which we'll come back to. But the sound of the song, the feel, the guitar riff, everything it just isn't there for me. And I never got why they released it as a third single when they had songs like, for instance, Afternoon High on that same album. So yeah.
Yeah, it's a strange pick for a third single from Lifelines. I have a feeling that it's a democratic choice because Pål and Magne wrote the first two singles from the album. The lyrics can be read as Pål slagging off Magne, which rarely makes for good songs, and as such, a position in the bottom third of our list seems well deserved.
Yeah, but I guess we should add that the stabbing of each other is a continuous thing, that and we'll hear about it later.
It's only just begun here.
It's only just begun, and if you include the solo stuff, it's really a lot of stabbing over the years.
Yeah, agree.
Number 115.
Number 115 is another demo, Dot the Eye, released on the demo tapes in 2004 and on Hunting High and Low Deluxe Edition from 2010. I've always really liked this one actually, but it is a demo and obviously therefore lacks proper production, and it makes it a little bit hard to judge the real quality or potential. I don't think it would have sounded too out of place on the debut album or maybe as a B-side to an early single. I think someone like Vince Clarke from Erasure or Yazoo could have done great things with it.
Yeah, I think the chorus is nice and the keyboard piano thing is okay. It's super naive though, but it has some nice chord progressions and effects along the way. But it's not the greatest one, but it's enjoyable on a rainy day.
Number 114.
Number 114, Mythomania from Carsten Steele, 2015. And I must say that expectations were high. The title sounded really cool, and it was supposed to be Magne's great contribution on the album. And I liked it at first, but all in all, I also think that it's the next best song on the album. Of the songs not written by Pål, it's very industrial. Some would say Depeche Mode-ish, but it's not. It doesn't really live up to expectations. Morten tries to sing it cool, and it sounds cool in places, but somehow it doesn't sound that cool anyway. It's a bit forced.
And I agree with the Depeche Mode link. To me, it leans too heavily on Depeche Mode for my taste, but I can also see how that could be part of the attraction for others. Nothing extraordinary.
No.
Number 113.
Number 113, Don't Do Me Any Favors from Analog from 2005. The slagging off continues. This time it's Magne taking a stab at Pål, which is equally as unpleasant to witness as when the knife is in the other person's hand. The song itself is a decent piano and guitar-led track that I think Keane and Coldplay would likely approve of, even if, in my books at least, Magne seems to have forgotten to write a chorus for the song. It's certainly not one that makes a fan feel better about the band chemistry or the lack thereof.
No, but although he's taking a stab at Pål, I like the song as a whole. It's very energetic and with great vocals, and the lyrics are relatable. if you don't know the story between the guys, of course. And I like the nice stops between the parts in the song. It's a take on me like drums, and I think it deserves to be high on the list. This is a compromise.
This is a compromise, yeah.
Yeah.
Number 112.
Okay, number 112, Real Meaning from Foot of the Mountain. This is I would say, middle of the road song from Paul. I like the Beatles, middle part of the song. It's nothing more than an okay song, and it sounds like it borrowed a little bit from Hey Lucci. It's a voice song from Lackluster Me, but and this sounds like a love song to Lauren as well. So yeah, and that's fine. There are a lot of those songs, but
yeah, and I mean, Morten has lent his vocals to several love songs from Paul to Lauren in the past, but in this case, I think Paul should probably have saved it for Savoy, or just played it to Lauren in their own living room and
in the privacy of their own home.
Yeah. This doesn't add anything to the AHA catalog in my book, at least.
Not really.
Number 111.
111, another Lifelines track from 2002, You Wanted More. Not a bad song, and one that I could see non-AHA fans enjoy as well. Most likely it's another stab at Pål from Magne about songwriting credits, which seemed to be a recurrent theme after 2000. And it's certainly a strange thing to put on an AHA album, but then again, Lifelines did feel more like 2 or 3 separate albums glued together than a coherent piece of work, and You Wanted More was definitely a decent effort.
Yeah, and there's a funny little story to this, because this slap in Paul's face, the lyrics says, we had it all, you gave it up, you wanted more. And I think it was a reference to that Paul wanted to take AHA into a rockier direction, and instead the popularity of the band went south. But then Paul actually came back with the Savoy song Rain on Your Parade a little later, where he said, take a good look where we are, damn right I wanted more. And I actually spoke to Lauren after a Savoy concert in Oslo, where we were in Spita, and asked her if this was a Daylight's Wasting number 2. AHA fans would know what I'm talking about. And she said, yes, but don't tell anyone. So, but aside from this kindergarten, the song is pretty much forgettable, I would say. So.
Yeah, it's probably one of those that I would put a little bit higher on the list then. So another compromise, but that's maybe also why things end up a little bit on the low end of the list, not low, but also not really high. That's where the compromises come in.
Yeah, and it has this anthem feel, and the production is pretty awful as well. So that's also why, because it has some potential. I agree, but.
And now we know that Lauren will never tell you a secret again.
Yeah. Sorry, Lauren, but it's old news now, isn't it? Yeah.
Number 110.
Number 110, You'll End Up Crying from Stanley's Roads, 1988. This one is clearly the odd one out on the album. But somehow it works nicely as a closer. I think I remember I liked it after a few spins. I was pretty shocked at first, but it's one of the more special songs that it doesn't stick in your mind for too long, I think.
I mean, there's always been something special about album closers from AHA. They've normally had a really, really high quality, and this is definitely not among the best ones, hence also the rank it got here on the list. I would probably personally move it up somewhat higher and put it higher on the list than Summers of Our Youth that we haven't gotten to yet. But that's personal opinion. It was never a favorite of mine. You'll End Up Crying. So
it should actually get an award for being the worst album closer.
Yeah. True.
Yeah. Award given hereby.
Congratulations.
Number 109.
Number 109 from Hunting High and Low from 1985, Love is Reason.
Award alert. We have an award. First song from Hunting High and Low. So worst song of that album?
Yes. Well, it's
True that.
True that. That's why it's here on the list. It's a light and somewhat forgettable song from the debut album, and for that alone, it feels out of place on Hunting High and Low, because in my view at least, that's far from a lightweight album, despite ABBA being, in my view at least, unfairly pigeonholed as a teen pop sensation at the time. So, yeah, I mean, Love is Reason seems a bit of a throwaway now, but I cannot honestly claim that I felt that way back when Hunting High and Low was released.
No.
So it's probably more a case of it not having aged as well as the other tracks in the album. Still, it was probably, or maybe definitely, a good choice that this was only chosen as a follow-up single to Take On Me in Norway and the Philippines, of all places, as Love is Reason could have done more harm than good to ABBA's artistic credentials if it had gotten a worldwide release as a second single.
But as you say, I mean, I also liked the song when I was 9 or 10 years old, and it has some qualities, but the sound of the horn-like keyboard sure doesn't help the song, and a song that really doesn't have the highest quality to begin with. So yeah.
Number 108.
All right, number 108 is Cozy Presence from Analog, 2005. To me, this is an above-average track. I really like it. It's classic Magne, both lyrically and also with regards to the melody. The lyrics are really good, and the piano is really nice, and the analog production is super nice. I really appreciate that. And also, layers are added as the song goes along, and when the third verse starts with your transatlantic shopping spree, the drums really kicks in and the song leaves the ground and it goes in halftime rhythm towards the end. I almost forgot how great the song is. I would have had it high on the list.
Yeah, and Magne also seems very pleased with the song and proud of it, and apparently it's a favorite among many fans, and in many ways I can understand why. It's like a classic piano-led track, but somehow I just don't feel that ABBA vibe. To me, it's more like Magne telling me how to feel rather than making me feel it. But like you, when I hear it again, I'm feeling that maybe we were a bit too harsh on it, and it could possibly have earned a top 100 rank. But we've discussed
it's too late
this
now.
Yeah, the minute you've done the list, you start to disagree with yourself already the next day. So let's leave it here and maybe give it a shooting star as one that could go higher on the list if we ever repeat this exercise in a couple of years, which we won't.
Yeah, which we won't. Yeah.
Number 107.
Number 107, The Summers of Our Youth from Analog from 2005.
107, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know I haven't had a say in your ranking, but I must say if it had been my list, this would be a top 50 song. I think it's a beautiful song.
We also had some discussion about this, and it's probably also another compromise. To me, I describe it as Magne singing the verses and Morten singing the choruses, and Chris Martin from Coldplay floating around in the air. In many ways, it's a logical album closer on Analog, but to me, it's just not a very good song. And I personally, like I mentioned before, consider this the weakest album closer of any ABBA album, and I would therefore have placed it below You'll End Up Crying if it was just up to me. But that's what compromises are for.
Yeah, that's what I think because I agree with you, Peter. I mean, it's maybe not a top 50 song, but it's a nice little song, and I always liked it when Magne sings a little lead vocals from time to time to scratch a bit on the polished ABBA surface that Morten creates, and and the chorus is sung by Morten, and so it makes the whole song kind of interesting, but not the best song they've ended an album with, but it's enjoyable.
And hang on for Peter's ranking highs and lows coming next year.
Yeah.
Number 106.
Number 106, Sunny Mystery from Foot of the Mountain. This song, it's written by Magne. This song reminds me of Everything But the Girl. I don't know why, but it has this floating atmospheric feel to it. It's a bit off compared to the other songs on the album, but it's very driven and airy, as I said. So it's not my preferred style of production, but it's okay and it's well written and it's quite enjoyable. I like it.
Yeah, and you say it's a bit off compared to the other songs, and it's also Magne's only solo writing credit on Foot of the Mountain, and it's actually one of, to me at least, the better songs on that album. And I do find myself humming it to myself.
The tune?
humming out of tune. It's a nice sort of chorus. There's a little bit too much Instagram travel blogger post in the lyrics for my taste, but
travel blogger post, yeah, okay,
yeah.
The edge of the forest and the likes of that. Yeah.
Hashtag forgettable.
Number 105.
Number 105, Giving Up the Ghost from Cast in Steel, 2015. One of the newest songs in a-ha's catalog to feature some of the mood from the Scoundrel Days era, I think, but unfortunately without matching the lyrical or melodic qualities. On a-ha's later albums, I've too often had that feeling that Magne writes for Magne, not for a-ha. Maybe that's just showing that we have different views of what a-ha is and should be, which is fair enough since Magne is in the band and I'm not, but that's the feeling that I'm left with.
Yeah, but you should be in the band. I should too.
Do the tambourine.
And this is to me the best song on the album that is not written by Pål. It's dark and cool, but by no means more than that. And Morten sings very well, but the chorus is weak, and the song really doesn't leave the ground as such. But still, I listen to it with enjoyment.
Yes.
Number 104.
Number 104 is Nothing Is Keeping You Here from Further Mountain. I think, haven't we said Further Mountain a lot? But, okay,
I think we have.
This is what I consider middle of the road a-ha. I mean, it has some nice aspects with the piano, but the chorus is really bland and boring. And the demo version actually has Morten singing very high notes towards the end, which is really cool. Another thing that rubs me the wrong way, it's the way Morten sings shine. He does that in the later years. It doesn't say shine, but shine. And it's I mean, imagine him singing "The sun always shines" on TV. It just doesn't sound right. But yeah.
No, that's also a fair point.
I don't know if it's fair, but it's
no, maybe not. I don't know.
It's my perspective.
But I think another thing about Nothing Is Keeping You Here is that it is also keeping with the theme of strange commercial single choices in the later years. It was released as the second single from Foot of the Mountain in the UK, but as the third single in Europe. And in both cases, the single version was different from the song on the album. Just stick to the album version though. It's the better version, but it's not a great song.
No.
Number 103.
Number 103 is Dragonfly from Lifelines from 2002. This song was first released as a solo song by Magne, in 2001 for the Norwegian movie Øyenstikker, which is Norwegian for dragonfly. And a-ha's version is definitely a quality effort with some beautiful instrumentation and sweet lyrics, but Magne's own take is definitely the superior one for those that can appreciate his vocal qualities, and I certainly can. In the case of Magne's version, it's actually the frailty in his voice that gives the song its strength, which is sort of naked and tender, and some of that is just lost in Morten's more polished vocal performance. But overall, not a bad song by any standard.
Yeah, I would add it's made by Magne and destroyed by AHA, which is really adding to your point that Magne's original version was better.
I wouldn't go as far as to say destroyed, though.
But we have to be edgy here. So,
the point is well taken.
Yeah.
But we could actually give it an award. As I see it, it must be the worst song with an animal mentioned in the song title.
Yeah, there you have it.
There you have it. Yeah.
Number 102.
Okay, number 102, Dora Jar from Carsten Steele 2015. I think this song is much better and more clever than it's actually giving credit for. The title is a bit weird to a native English person, but I've heard, but still, so it's take on me. So, notice that Morten starts singing in two different beats in the first and the second verse, and I think that works really well. I always enjoy that. When it gets a little bit different from the first to the second verse. The lyrics gives nice images in the head, I think. Somehow it's kind of the blue sky on this album. A very nice track with Alan Tarney co-producing it with Pål. So he's back, the producer from AHA's first 3 albums, give and take.
Yeah. So as you say, Alan Tarney is back, and so Dora Jar reunites AHA with Alan Tarney, but for some reason, it's just Paul's songwriting, Morten's vocals, and Alan Tarney's production. It just doesn't create the same old AHA magic as from the first albums. No. I do like it when AHA get a little bit odd, but in the case of Dora Jar, it feels like it's lacking a chorus, which is an issue when there's nothing else to really lift it. I agree, it's underrated, but it's just outside top 100 here, and when we're starting to see some real quality numbers come up.
Number 101.
Number 101, and the final song in this second episode of the podcast is And You Tell Me from Hunting High and Low from 1985. So we're back to the debut album. Here we have a young Pål, not a Paul Young, young Pål who's trying to convince Lauren that he loves her a lot. And they're still together to this day. So if And You Tell Me has contributed to that in any shape or form, then I don't have a bad word to say about it. I like the sincere lyrics. Just go ahead, say what you want or what you mean. And this is as direct as can be. It's a strange little song which sounds somewhat out of place on the album, but it's not necessarily in a bad way. But it's sweet rather than essential.
Yeah, I think it's a weird little song coming after the Son of Wishes on TV, the total grandiose song. I always saw it as the odd one out, but later I like it a bit more, and the chords for the song are in fact clever and very diverse, but it never really leaves the ground for me, and it becomes a bit of a comma. But a nice little song. I can enjoy it and have done many times.
That's it, Peter.
It is 25 songs. Still, fair to say, we are still in the lows than the highs.
We are.
Yeah, we are.
But it's getting better now.
Yeah.
That's the good thing about this podcast. It gets better all the time. And keep in mind that we have the blog where you can go in and actually read your comments.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So please do that, and then come back for our third episode where we'll take the next 25 songs.
Get into top 100.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. And we promise that we will be even happier than we've been with the last 25. And we're getting happier by the minute, so to speak. So
See you there.
See you there.